The cosmos is a graveyard of ancient light, a silent expanse where stars go to die and dissolve into the unyielding dark. For eons, we believed that once a stellar core collapsed, its final sigh was absolute, a slow, predictable decay into frozen ash. But deep within the unmapped void of the dark sector, where only the ghosts of primordial giants drift, something has broken the eternal silence. High above our atmosphere, suspended in the gravitational balance of the second Lagrange point, the golden mirrors of the James Webb Space Telescope were quietly scanning the abyss. What they captured was not the faint, expected glow of cold cosmic dust, but a phantom. A highly structured, rhythmic pulse of infrared light, emerging directly from the heart of a dead star system. In the clean rooms of mission control, the telemetry arrived as a jagged spike on the monitors. At first, the engineers suspected a glitch, a rogue artifact of the telescope's cryogenic instruments, or a stray cosmic ray striking the infrared sensors. But as the data was cleaned, processed, and verified, the chilling truth became undeniable. The signal was real. It was a perfect, repeating mathematical cadence, an impossible heartbeat emanating from a stellar corpse that should have been cold and inert for billions of years. There are no active fusion engines left in this dead sector, no swirling accretion disks of superheated plasma to generate such a precise frequency. By all known laws of astrophysics, this region of space should be completely, utterly dark. Yet, the dead star is screaming. The implications of this ghost in the telemetry have sent a wave of quiet terror through the scientific community. To find a structured pulse here is like discovering a ticking watch buried inside an ancient tomb. It suggests that our understanding of stellar death is fundamentally flawed, or worse, that something has awakened within the ruins of the dark sector. Some researchers whisper of exotic physics, of dark matter annihilation fueling a zombie star from the inside out, defying the thermodynamic limits of the universe. Others look at the precise, artificial geometry of the light curves and feel a deeper, more existential dread. If this is not a natural phenomenon, then we are witnessing a beacon, a monumental transmission from a graveyard, turned on by an entity that operates in the shadows of the cosmos. As the telescope continues to stare into the blackness, the pulse grows stronger, a rhythmic, haunting beacon cutting through the infrared dark. It is a message written in the language of heat and gravity, mocking our models of the cosmos. We built our greatest observatory to look back at the dawn of time, to witness the birth of the first stars. Instead, we have peered into the dark sector and found that the dead do not rest. The pulse continues, steady and cold, a terrifying reminder that in the deep, silent ocean of space, we are never truly alone, and the dark has a voice. Deep in the frozen expanse of the infrared void, where the remnants of ancient suns drift like ash across a dark ocean, the James Webb Space Telescope turned its golden, hexagonal light toward a graveyard of stars. For billions of years, this patch of the cosmos had remained utterly silent, a desolate expanse populated only by the cold, inert corpses of dead worlds. Scientists expected nothing more than the faint, dying embers of thermal radiation, the final, gasping breaths of a stellar remnant long since burned out. But as the telescope pierced the thick shroud of cosmic dust, the data streaming back to Earth shattered every established law of astrophysics. Locked onto a supposedly inert stellar corpse, a cold and forgotten white dwarf, the observatory captured something that defied explanation. It was not the chaotic, random noise of a dying star, but a highly structured, repeating energy signature that should not exist. This anomalous signal cut through the darkness with mathematical precision, pulsing from the void. In the cold control rooms of Earth, the telemetry monitors began to paint a terrifying picture. This was not a natural phenomenon. The signal possessed a rhythm, a complex, layered architecture of infrared emissions that pulsed at intervals too perfect to be born of stellar collapse. It was a rhythmic heartbeat in a tomb. Every 72 seconds, a sharp, artificial spike of energy surged from the core of the dead star, followed by a series of decaying subfrequencies that resembled a sequence of prime numbers. The implications of this discovery sent a chill through the scientific community. A dead star should not have a pulse. It should not possess the energy to project a highly organized beam of light across the gulf of interstellar space. To find such a structured signature originating from an inert stellar corpse implies either a physics we do not yet comprehend, or something far more unsettling. Is it possible that this dead star has been retrofitted, its hollowed-out core repurposed by an intelligence that operates on a scale of time and technology we cannot fathom? Or is the signal a cosmic distress beacon, programmed to broadcast into the empty dark long after its creators have faded into dust? As the James Webb Space Telescope continues to stare into the abyss, the data grows more complex, and the silence of the universe becomes deafening. We are looking at a tomb, but someone, or something, is still inside, sending a message that was never meant for us to hear. The light we are receiving today left that dead star thousands of years ago, a ghostly echo of a technology so advanced it treats the corpses of suns as mere transmitters. In the quiet halls of astronomy, the realization is beginning to settle in. We are not alone, and the dark is far from empty. Something is out there, watching, waiting, and broadcasting from the cold ruins of a dead world, leaving us to wonder what truly lies ahead. It began as a ghost in the machine, a momentary blip in the cold, unfeeling stream of telemetry flowing back to Earth. In the subterranean control rooms of the Space Telescope Science Institute, the atmosphere was thick with the quiet hum of routine. The James Webb Space Telescope was executing a standard infrared sweep of a dead stellar remnant, a white dwarf cooled to near absolute zero, drifting in the silent graveyard of the Sagittarius Arm. There was no reason to expect anything but the faint, dying embers of a star that had perished billions of years ago. But then, the telemetry broke. A spike of anomalous energy sliced through the background radiation, registering on the mid-infrared instrument not as a chaotic flare, but as a perfectly structured wave. Within minutes, the comfortable silence of the night shift evaporated. The automated warning systems triggered, painting the sterile, blue-lit monitors in harsh amber. Scientists, half asleep moments before, leaned forward as the raw data began to cascade across their screens. It was a transition of pure, heart-stopping panic. This was not a sensor glitch, nor was it the random noise of the cosmos. The signal possessed a terrifying, synthetic precision. It did not drift or decay, it pulsed with a rigid, mathematical cadence that defied every known law of astrophysics. Natural cosmic phenomena are messy, violent, and chaotic, but this transmission was clean, deliberate, and undeniably engineered. It was a sequence of prime numbers, repeated with a chilling, microscopic accuracy down to the nanosecond. The implications rippled through the facility like a physical shockwave. Phones began to ring across continents, secure lines were opened, and the world's leading astrophysicists were pulled from their beds into the cold glare of emergency video conferences. They stared in disbelief at the spectroscopic readouts. The source was unmistakable. The signal was emanating directly from the core of the dead star, a place where no fusion should exist, where no life could possibly survive, and where no technology should ever have been built. It was as if the corpse of a star had suddenly opened its mouth to speak, its voice a cold, digital whisper cutting through the eternal dark. The realization settled over the room like a suffocating weight. This was not a message of hope, nor was it a random cosmic echo. It was a beacon, operating with the cold, calculated efficiency of an ancient alien machine. As the computers continued to decode the relentless, rhythmic pulse, the scientists realized they were no longer looking at an astronomical phenomenon. They were looking at a countdown, broadcasting from a tomb, and the universe was suddenly a very crowded, very quiet, and very terrifying place. In the absolute silence of the control room, one terrifying, undeniable truth became clear to everyone present: we are not alone in this dark and empty void, and whatever is out there has just turned its cold, mechanical gaze directly toward us, waiting silently in the dark shadows. The universe does not whisper, it decays in silence. For eons, we believed the death of a star was a chaotic, weeping affair of scattering gas and fading embers. But when the James Webb Space Telescope locked its golden, hexagonal mirrors onto the frozen heart of a dying white dwarf, the static of the cosmos ceased to be random. In the deep, cold infrared spectrum, the telemetry did not show the messy, entropic noise of a dying star. It revealed structure. A cold, pristine, and terrifyingly precise mathematical sequence. This was the first transmission of the necro signal, a rhythmic pulse carved into the very decay of stellar matter, operating on a logic that defies natural astrophysics and challenges our understanding of cosmic entropy. When the raw data packets flooded the servers at the Space Telescope Science Institute, the supercomputers did not find the expected thermal fluctuations. Instead, they mapped a series of prime numbers, interwoven with physical constants that governed the structural integrity of spacetime itself. It was as if the dying star was not merely cooling, but actively computing. Every pulse of infrared light was a digit, a line of code executed by the crushing gravity of a collapsing core. Scientists watched in mounting dread as the algorithms traced a perfect, repeating fractal pattern, a geometric architecture of light that could only exist if guided by an intelligence or a fundamental, hidden law of physics we were never meant to discover. This is not the chaotic scream of a dying giant, but a calculated, synthetic epitaph. In the language of cosmic cyberpunk, it is a ghost in the stellar machine, a haunting relic of a system governed by unseen hands. The necro signal operates on a frequency that utilizes the star's own degenerate matter as a semiconductor, modulating the gravitational waves and thermal output into a binary matrix. As the white dwarf shrinks, its density increases, and with it, the complexity of the signal accelerates. It is a cosmic countdown clock, ticking down with mathematical perfection toward an absolute zero that promises not just darkness, but a systemic reset of the cosmos. To decode this signal is to stare into an abyss of cold, mechanical certainty. The chilling equations embedded within the stellar decay do not speak of life, nor do they carry a message of hope. They describe the exact rate of universal heat death, mapped out to the decimal point, broadcasted from a grave of carbon and oxygen. We are listening to the universe calculate its own demise, using the corpses of its oldest stars as the processors. The terror lies not in the silence of the void, but in the realization that the silence is actually a highly compressed, digital scream, waiting for someone to finally decipher the math of the end, a code that rewrites our destiny. This is the ultimate truth of the necro signal. It is simply not a cry for help, but an inevitable program executing its final, unyielding, cold commands. Deep within the sterile, blue-lit sanctuaries of our most advanced research facilities, where supercomputers hum like synthetic hearts, the silence is absolute. For weeks, the raw telemetry harvested by the James Webb Space Telescope from the cold heart of the dead star has been running through silent servers. To the untrained eye, the cascading lines of incoming code look like typical, meaningless static, the dying breath of a collapsed core. But to the elite joint task force of astrophysicists and cryptographers, the numbers began to whisper a far darker story. They did not find the chaotic pulses of a spinning pulsar, nor the decaying magnetic screams of a magnetar. Instead, as the decryption algorithms slowly peeled back the cosmic interference, they uncovered a terrifying, mathematical perfection. The signal possessed an undeniably deliberate, terrifying architecture. It was not a natural emission, but an engineered, ultra-dense data stream, structured with a complexity that completely defies comprehension. Every single burst of radiation, every microsecond of silence, was meticulously and perfectly placed. The cryptographers realized they were not looking at cosmic noise, but at an active language. It was a multi-dimensional matrix of prime numbers, nested binary sequences, and quantum-encoded instructions, repeating with absolute precision. As the supercomputer clusters hummed in the dark, translating the telemetry into visual spectrograms, the horrifying truth materialized on the glowing terminal screens. The dead star was not dead at all, it was actively breathing. It had been hollowed out, repurposed, or perhaps artificially constructed from its very inception to serve as a colossal, stellar-scale transmitter. This was not a random beacon crying out into the void, but a highly directed, high-bandwidth broadcast aimed directly at our sector of the galaxy. The realization sent an icy, paralyzing shiver through the global scientific community. Nature simply does not write complex code. Nature does not encrypt. Nature does not leave a digital fingerprint. The mathematical signatures embedded within the signal utilized a form of non-Euclidean geometry to compress vast amounts of complex information into single, fleeting pulses of gamma radiation. It was a cosmic archive, a digital monument, or perhaps a warning, pulsing through the cold dark of space for billions of years before finally washing over the gold-plated mirrors of our telescope. The implications of this discovery are staggering, existential, and deeply unsettling to our species. We are simply not listening to the ghost of a dead star, but to the deliberate, calculated voice of an ancient, unimaginably advanced cosmic intelligence. An intelligence that mastered the manipulation of stellar remnants while our own ancestors were still crawling out of the primordial oceans. As the decoding process continues, the scientists realize they have opened a door that can never be closed. The stream is active, it is coherent, and it is telling us something we may not be ready to hear, a truth that could shatter our understanding of existence. The universe is no longer silent, and the dead star is speaking.